What's happening now has not happened before in our lifetimes.
Worst day for the S&P and NASDAQ since May. Dow now negative for Q3. Steve Weiss.
You're seeing the stock market move well below that. Right now, it looks like the Dow is down by about 6.9%.
We're in a different era now.
Secretary Yellen is warning that if Congress doesn't raise the debt limit by October 18th, that there'll be a financial crisis, a calamity, as she calls it. Is this what you think will trigger this October crash?
This is going to be the biggest crash in world history. Historically, what's happened today is the nominal debt to GDP is a correlation of M2, the volume of money, times the velocity of money. Meanwhile, the Asians are catching up now. Their ports are finally open. It is transitory inflation. But the problem is we're stacked with this massive debt, and all it's done is bump up the stock market and real estate market. The money has not gone into the economy. That's the sad part. So the rich get richer, but the poor and middle class are getting poorer. It is tragic what's happening today. What we're doing today is actually going to kill the economy too, because you and I are now on, let's say, Zoom. So technology is going to wipe out more jobs. Like, who's going to fly? Who's going to stay at a hotel? The velocity of money is now too slow. Savings are going up, spending is going down. Debt is the biggest problem of all, but that's called M2, money supply. And the debt to GDP ratio is out of sight. So when it comes down, which it brings everything down with it, that's when I'm going to be buying more gold, silver, and Bitcoin. The separation between the stock market and the economy has never been worse. I'm disturbed because the money is staying only in the investor market. Every time the Fed does something, the Treasury does something, only guys like me get richer. But the money is not going into the real economy. They're not investing. They haven't invested for years in plant and equipment. So I'm just saying, I'm a pure capitalist. When markets crash, it's the best time to get rich. So I'm getting very excited about a crash coming because the better stocks will come available, Unfortunately, Michelle, there would be massive social unrest because we have not reinvested. The Fed and the Treasury have only invested in the investor class. They haven't invested in the working class. And the working class is without jobs, without pay, without this. Their 401ks are going to get toasted. And that's why I'm more saying, I don't like what's happening. We have to fight back against socialism and Marxism.
What can an individual investor that's getting this information from you do in anticipation of this?
Time to wake up is what I'm saying. The profits are made when you buy, not when you sell. So if you're worried about your position, you probably bought too high. I'd say it's desperate people doing desperate things. A crash is a good time to get rich. I like crashes. I'm very optimistic on gold, silver, and Bitcoin, not on stocks.
This idea of a digital dollar, a so-called Fed coin, central bank digital currencies that the US may follow in China's lead, which means that there will be total control of every single currency unit.
I'm more afraid of the Fed coin than anything else. It'll totally be central control of the economy and our lives. They'll monitor everything we do by how we spend our money. Our freedom will be gone. I think they want to take away all of our rights with gold, silver, and crypto and go back to full centralized control. Why are they doing that? Fascism is capitalism in decay. Fed coin is one more step into fascism because they're going to start track with this blockchain everything. They can track everything now. So I want everything possible, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and my bullets, that are not trackable. What's happening today is the poor middle class who went to school, they got their jobs and all this stuff, they're being wiped out, while the rich are getting richer because everything the Fed prints stays in the asset class, not the business class. So we're screwing our own people by not reinvesting in plants and equipment for jobs. Are the Fed and the Treasury destroying our country?
Well, it's more than America, it's a global crisis. Most people don't know how they're stealing it. Well, people are terrified to ask. Well, it's more than America, it's a global crisis. I'll give you one quick stat. In the next 10 years, 2 billion old guys like me will retire. 2 billion all over the world. And this is a global crisis. And the reason I'm buying gold and silver, I love silver because it's cheap, it's low priced, but it's because the government, in my opinion, will have to print more money to cover this massive, massive, massive 2 billion people shortfall of no money. And in America alone, the pension shortfall for defined benefit pensions is estimated to be $9 to $17 trillion.
Wow. Right.
So print, 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 print. Good for gold and silver, gold and silver. Well, people are terrified to ask, you know, and I meet people with their 401k statements. They don't want to open the statement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they know somebody already took the money out. So who stole my pension? There's two authors. One is myself, and I cover what's called defined contribution pensions, which are 401ks and IRAs. The second author is Ted Siddell. He's a former SEC attorney, and he got sick and tired of watching these people, the Wall Street, the labor union guys, as well as many other people, stealing workers' pensions. So he became a whistleblower, and he is now the #1 whistleblower in America. I think his last payout was something like $34 or $40 million. He's a great guy. Ted Siddell's the second author. So we cover both defined benefit and defined contribution. And when you read Who Stole My Pension, you'll understand why defined contribution, the pension for firefighters, teachers, and police officers, is going to bring down the 401k. Now, this is all good news for people like me who are gold and silver fanatics. If you read Who Stole My Pension, it'll make your blood boil. You know, it's because read the back cover of the book. Again, Ted is an SEC attorney, and he got sick and tired of the looting. So he has sued over $1 trillion worth of pension funds money. So that's why he's the biggest whistleblower around. I'm kind of afraid to stand next to him because someone might kill us, you know. But he is treading on some very big toes. So when you read Who Stole My Pension, he writes about how they steal it out of the Teamsters, firefighters, pilots. If I was going to be a pilot, thank God I didn't fly for United Airlines because they stole their pension too. You'll see it from an SEC attorney's side of how Wall Street and these union leaders, as well as a bunch of other culprits, are stealing the money straight out of people's pensions all over the world. And that's why I said there's 2 billion people in the next 10 years, old guys like me, who are out of time, which means I think the Fed, they'll have to print more money. Most people don't know how they're stealing it. Again, there's two authors, two types of pensions, defined benefit, defined contribution. They steal in different ways. But like I was talking to a friend of mine, and it's very, you know, I live in a fairly wealthy neighborhood. This guy's an attorney, and he's all excited about the stock market. He says, oh, the stock market is up. I'm in love with Trump and all this. And I said, you idiot, can't you see it's the bond market that's going to bring it down? What? And the average guy is watching the stock market, but not watching the looting going out the credit market, the corporate credit market. So all that's covered in Who Stole My Pension. So if you become aware of how they're stealing your money, then you can say, well, maybe I should do something different. For example, let me ask all your listeners right now, if you found out you were retiring in 2 years and you found out you had no pension money, what would you do? And it's for young people too, because it's a real estate play. You know, you don't want grandma moving in with you or your kids moving in with grandma. It's going to be an interesting time. I count gold and silver. That's all I do. You know, I write about it in all the stuff I do. I've been saving gold and silver since 1972, before it was illegal for me to buy gold. So I am a complete advocate. You know, I've taken 3 companies public for IPOs: silver company, oil company, and gold company. It's cheaper to buy gold and silver than start companies. But anyway, I recommend to all my friends start buying silver because silver is so underpriced today. Now, I love gold is going to keep going up.
Yep.
If you're just starting out, just start with some silver right now. It's like 30, 40, 50% underpriced right now. It's the biggest bargain in the world today. And gold has outperformed the S&P all this time. And people, all they can see is the stock market. And when that baby goes down, the next crash is going to make 2008 look like nothing, make it look like chump change. Because this is the biggest crash in history. It's affecting the most people is the old guys like me who are baby boomers who hope they can retire. If you haven't bought gold yet, buy it now. You know, I mean, don't buy silver because you're going to wish you had bought more gold. But if you have no money, start with silver. I bought my first gold when I was 25 years old. I was in Hong Kong. I bought a Krugerrand. I was a pilot in Vietnam. And if I was 25 years today, I'd probably be in Bitcoin. But I'm an old guy. My brain doesn't work around crypto. So whether you buy crypto or gold, I think it's a lot of your age and what you're comfortable with. So I love crypto. It's the blockchain technology. I think it's going to change the world. I don't know about Bitcoin. I own some. I own some Ethereum and some other Coinbase or something. But my love is with gold and silver because that's God's money. Gold and silver were here when the earth was formed, and gold and silver will be here when we're all gone.